In this video, I'm going to build a daybed for my upstairs bonus room. In my last video, I built a daybed for my downstairs office. That daybed used a trundle to store the second mattress underneath the frame. For this project, I'm going to build a stackable daybed. My trundle system daybed allowed me to use it as a single bed or as a king. For this stackable daybed, I'll be able to use it as two separate singles or also push them together and make a king size bed. Just like with the trundle daybed, all the wood for this project is being reused from wood that had been used on previous projects that I had taken apart because I no longer had a use for them. The assembly portion of this project is really easy, since all I'm doing is building the same bed frame twice. There's only one minor difference between the two beds, and that's where the holes are located on the frames to be able to connect them together. I started by assembling an end section for the bottom bed. Then I assembled the same section for the top part of the bed. Once both sections were assembled, I connected them using the bolts I bought for this purpose. This is where the only difference between the bottom bed and top bed is located. The bottom bed has holes running through the top 2x4 of its end pieces, and the top bed is the opposite, with holes running through the bottom 2x4 of its end pieces. Because these holes needed to line up perfectly, I made sure that when I drilled them that I marked the 2x4 so I knew which pairs went together. With the end pieces assembled and connected, I needed to attach them to each other, and as I started to do that, I started to realize there was an issue. Okay, so I have a bit of a problem here. As you can see, this is very wobbly. So something is massively uneven. I suspect the issue is actually being caused by these 2x4s right here. All of these pieces of wood are essentially leftover scrap from previous projects that I no longer had a use for, so I took them apart and I'm reusing the wood. And one of the issues I had with the project these pieces were used for is that a lot of the wood bought at that time was very uneven. It wasn't particularly straight. Some of the pieces ended up warping quite a bit after buying them. So I tried to pick the straightest boards I had on hand, and they still apparently weren't very good because up until connecting the fourth board, everything was sitting flat and I didn't have this problem. As soon as the fourth one was connected, I started to have this issue. So I'm guessing that because they are warped so badly, they are causing the problem. So what I did is I went to the store, I bought 4 brand new 2x4s, tried to pick the straightest ones I could find, and I've cut those, drill pocket holes, and I'm gonna replace these, and hopefully that will fix the issue, and then I'll save this wood and try to reuse it with shorter pieces. I'll have to cut them down, but I'll try to find a new project to use them for. After replacing the old warped 2x4s with the new straight ones, I found that the bed was still a bit wobbly. Although it was much better than it was before, it still wasn't sitting flat. I decided to continue with the assembly process anyway, hoping that the rest of the remaining pieces would add enough weight to force the entire frame to sit flat. At this point, the next piece to attach was the support for the slats. Before I could attach the slats to the support rails using the wooden dowels, I needed to drill the holes for the dowels in the support rail. I drilled all the holes in the slats using the drill press to make sure they were perfectly straight, but I was worried that if I did the same thing with the support rails that then they wouldn't line up properly in case anything was warped. So I held off to the end and decided to do it by hand. In the end, I was right, and it turns out all the frame needed to be able to sit flat on the floor was to have the remaining pieces attached to it that provided enough weight to flatten it out.